I think here it's rook b2 to target h2. Because if you go queen h1, let's say rook b2, queen h1, d4 becomes undefended and I can take it. And that's it. So let's go for this. Second point is if rook f2, I could do bishop d4. At first I thought I would play rook b1, but queen takes. So I have to deflect the queen from e4 by doing this. By taking on d4, attacking the rook, so queen has to capture, and then rook b1 is possible, and the back rank is pretty much undefended. And that's the puzzle. Oh, what do we have here? g3 is a no-no because bishop hangs. But what do I have other than that? Is it simply bishop e2? To have g3 later on. Because queen cannot go back to f6. f5 is also off limits. So if I prepare g3 by bishop e2, black is losing his queen. That's the one. King d6. And then take on d5. Oh, it still goes on. So king e2 is a threat of a sort, because if I move a rook, king e3 and c3 pawn hangs. So I guess I get to play king d4. I have to play king d4. So I defend this pawn. And that is it. Here we have to disconnect the queen and rook somehow. And I can do it by f3, I guess. f3, and then queen has to stay on this diagonal to keep the rook under control, but where to go? d3 is unavailable, c2 also, f5 also. On g6 I can exchange queens and then take on b1. So f3 looks like the best. Oh, this one... Well, I guess I take en passant, because if I don't, king creeps in to b2 and my knight is stuck. And in best case I can go king c5 and knight b4, but he has a protected passed pawn, so I'm gonna pass. And now exchange the knights, because I have outside passed pawn. And now, important moment. Which one? King c5 or king d5? What's the difference? What's the difference? I don't see it immediately, so... It looks a bit tricky. King c5, d4, or h4 maybe. King d5 then. King c5, d4. I think it's king c5. Oh, Wait, why wouldn't it be h4? Aha, so you're quick here. Yeah, I should have spent more time here. Definitely more time. Ah, he sneaks in like this and gets to f4. And it's a draw. If you go king d5 and h4, king c5, d4, and now you don't waste time on taking a pawn. And you're one tempo quick. Which is what decides these endgames in general. One tempo is always very important. And now it's different. Now the king is too far. Okay. New streak. Take and then push the pawn simply. Rook g5, rook h1, king g8, and you escape. Rook g6, or what else? I mean... Sure, let's take... and go bishop e2. What is this? Why is this so messed up? Shouldn't be so tough. Should be like this, with a simple motif. Or like this, more or less straightforward. That was weird. Rook a8, king d7, rook d1. Sure. Check. Bishop e7. This one or that one? That one. Probably. f4. This knight b3 is a very important in-between move because you attack the rook, and if you take immediately, king takes the knight, so knight b3. And that is it. e3. Maybe f4 to have knight e7 later. But wait, f4, do you have... I went for some witchcraft, rook c2, over the knight. What's happening here? Takes, queen c5, take on c4. Knight e6 looks great. Take the queen. Here, knight f3 looks good, because if knight takes, you eliminate the knight and take the queen. Or take it immediately like this. What? Maybe rook f2, because there's a threat immediately. Immediately. By the way, what's happening? I don't really get it. Queen h2. Oh, you defend mate and also attack. Clever. Clever, clever. Takes. Oh. Sneaky. h2 and king f4. And then pick him up. Pick him up. This bishop is only defended by the knight, so we can kick it and then take the bishop. Oh, this is a nice tactic. Queen takes f2, and we take a rook. Since the knight is pinning, since the queen is pinned. Rook c3 looks lovely. Rook c3 and then take twice on c3. I mean, take. Wait a second. Wait a second. Why not rook c8? Why not that? If knight d5, king d4, e6, bishop g2. I'm not a big fan. But if I go rook c8, he cannot... Oh, king d3. I gotta take this. Check, and knight e6. Sure. Sure. Take or just pin him. Pin him down. Rook f1, provoking g3, but then I can take on f3 and the pawn is pinned. Sure. What's happening with bishop f2? I think that's the one. Knight h2 and then take the queen. Cd to keep an eye on g2 and to keep an eye on the rook. Rook d6 would be a huge mistake because of simple capture, but this is good enough. Bishop d5, what is this? No, takes and rook b1, pinning this guy. And job is finished. f6, king h8, queen h6, rook g8, rook h5, gh, rook g7, and that should be over. Let's see. f6, queen d8. No, I think I'm complicating this too much. What is this? If I do queen h6 immediately, he takes on f5. I don't really see it. I don't really see how this continues. f6, queen d8, rook f1, king h8, queen h6. Oh, but... Oh, no, wait. He has rook g8, queen f8 to defend. But is that defense enough? Maybe it's not in the end. Huh. I don't know. What's it gonna be? For 51, it's a really puzzling puzzle. So f6, queen d8. Rook f1, king h8, queen h6, rook g8, rook b7 possibly, and then f8 hangs, f7 hangs. But it's okay, queen f8, this continues, but I guess you go queen h4 and he cannot do anything against rook g3, rook h3 and hitting this pawn. Because on h5 you always have an option to sacrifice on h5 and give a smothered checkmate, so I would say it's f6. But yeah, this was quite an awkward puzzle. They go for this. Okay. So what I was worried about, quote unquote, was king h8. Let's see what the engine proposes. Oh, just take on b7. What about this? Aha, you have to take. Oh, he has g5. My bad. So here, rook b7, and then maybe rook e7, I don't know. Aha, so now rook g8 is not well advised because f7 hangs. Okay. Good to know, but this is, come on, after that puzzle comes mate in 3. Really? Really? Bishop h7, and something's gonna pop up. King h8, check. King h7, check on d3, and then you take the queen because it was attacked right now. At the moment. 96. Probably. What could this be? Queen f7, king h4, and we go with queen f3 maybe to give him some regards. Let's go. Queen f3, blocking h5, and now g3 comes. Very timely. We can take the rook immediately, but bishop f7 is a big problem, so we can separate the king and the rook by bishop h7, king h8, and now we take. Because now when he takes, we can take back. And it's a piece up. What is this? Rook d5? queen d5, knight d5, bishop e7, and 2 pieces for for a rook. Not too bad, right? Not too bad. Oh boy. What is this? Rook d2? And somehow to deflect the rook from defending the queen. Okay, let's think deeper. So, rook d2, king f1, rook d1. Here, queen e1. King f3, rook d3, and the chase begins. I think the chase will end tragically for white. We didn't get to see it, but believe me, it's the tragic scenario. Oh god, what is this? King h8 or... King h8 or king g7? What's the big fuss? Maybe on king g7, maybe on king h8 he has queen to... Oh no, he doesn't. What am I talking? What could be the difference? What could be the difference? King g7, queen e7, king h6. Queen b7, queen e1. Wait. Queen e8. Can he adjust his queen somehow to his suiting? Wait, king g7. This queen e1. But no, this doesn't look right. No, I have to go bishop d4, I suppose. So on king g7, queen e7, king h6, queen b7, bishop d4. But why wouldn't I do this the same way here? Very, very awkward. I would go for king g7, but I don't really see how How does king h8 make any difference? King g7. Very, very tough one, but I'm gonna go king g7. I don't see anything. Oh, king f8. I didn't even look at the king f8. Oh, yeah, it doesn't give a check. Doesn't allow a check. How brilliant. You don't get queen e8 check. But why didn't I consider the third move? Wow. King f8 seemed so unsafe, quote unquote. But it was the safest. No checks. Well, a good piece of news is that there was no difference between king g7 and king h8. And a bad piece of news, well, where do I begin? Where do I even begin? Maybe d3. Okay, I gotta slow down a little bit. But a little bit. Not too much. Rook g8 and exchange, take a rook. Check, here takes. Queen f7 and queen f8, picking up the rook. H13. H7 and because you want to lure the king into a check. You don't have time for capturing this knight immediately because of queen g2 mate. So you gotta go h7 and then take on e5, take on f4 and finish it. Well, we take this and take on b2. Go c5. Knight g5 looks good here. As you see, I'm not slowing down at all, but it's even funnier when I fail, so brace yourself. Knight f4. f4. Sure. Oh, this is winning for us. Oh yeah, that's how. Maybe f6. F6 and f6. Well, we take the wait a second. Wait a second. It's a trap. No. Takes and take on h5 in the end. No trap, mister. Is it gonna be rook e2? I don't get checkmated, right? Rook e2, d8, rook e1, king a2. No checks. Sounds good. Shallow calc, but I think at 27, I think you shouldn't calculate too deeply. Not age of 27, just puzzle 27. Oh, bishop g5, free pawn. And then you get checkmated on the back rank. So you gotta go back to f8. Sadly, but it works. Queen b4. Yeah. What? Greek gift, a little bit modified, but it works all the same. Greek. Oh, you take on e1 and move the rook. What is this? Bishop a3 maybe first. Because if you take on e5, he takes, and bishop hangs. If you take with the knight, bishop hangs. Bishop hangs, so you have to go bishop a3. And you take with the bishop, because if queen takes, bishop hangs. So... oh, the king is a bit stuck here. So rook h3. Included into the attack. Include it. Rook d7 looks good here. Queen f8 and then some queen h1 will do the magic. What is this? Takes, king h1, and then this bishop is pinned and doomed. Because if I go king h1 immediately, he takes on f1, I take his queen, but he takes on d2 and starts collecting too much material, which I don't like. I don't appreciate that. So I guess I have to take and go king h1. What is this? Knight g6 and then take the queen. Looks good. Oh, this looks like bishop b5. You should disconnect the knight and the bishop. If bishop takes on g5, bishop c6 attacks the rook, and then you take on g5. Easy. Well, what do we have here? Rook e2, king e2, queen d4. If you go queen d4 immediately, he protects and everything falls apart. So rook e2, and then you take. Sure. Queen d4, attacking the bishop, so knight has to go to f6, but then you go g5, and knight is pinned, and black loses a piece. If bishop d5, gf6, ef6, queen d5, and white's a piece up. Okay, wow, this wins. Damn it. Alberto Romero, hello. Nice logo, by the way. Where is Caroline 94? He was abducted. King d6. Bishop c6. Push. Rook g1, queen h6, rook g7. This one? No? Oh yeah, it is. Because if you move to the f-file, there's gonna be knight d5. And when queen f7 takes, knight c3, and that's winning. If you go to h8, queen h5, king g7, knight e8, take the queen. If king g7 immediately, knight e8 wins the queen again. So that's about it. What do we have here? Rook h8 maybe. Threatening rook h5, so g6 and then rook g8. A little body feint. If you go immediately for this, I suppose... Well, I suppose he just pushes the pawn. This way you threaten checkmate and pick up a couple of pawns. So take on f6 and go after the a pawn. Sure. Check and knight e7, typical strangling motive. h5, queen g8, king h6, queen h8 here. Well, you somehow get him. f4, king f6, knight e5. Oh, he takes it. Thank you. Knight d5. Oh, everything hangs so much here. This hangs. But let's see the proper way. Rook f7 maybe. That's the more direct. Rook f7, queen to c8, rook f8, queen e6, king h8, and now knight f7. Win the exchange and... Or maybe win a piece by queen d6. Could be. Rook f7 takes. Rook f8, queen e6, king h8, queen d6, and there's no time for knight e3. Let's go. Oh, God. Queen f3, knight h3, bishop d4. Man, that's pretty much over. I think that works, because if knight moves, there's also bishop d4. If it moves anywhere, there's bishop d4. So that works. Damn. What is this? Queen b7, knight b7, no. Looks pretty wrong. Queen e2 maybe. To gain a tempo on the rook. So I can have knight c5 later and exploit the back rank. Possibly. So let's say rook c1, knight c5, rook cannot take because of back rank, dc5 is bad because of back rank. And if you attack my knight and a rook, I have knight d6. Just in case. Let's go. Knight c5 in the end. I would say queen f6. Queen f6, and if king goes to c8, there's knight d6. If king goes to c7, there's queen d6 with knight d7, which is the main motive here. If king d7, you just delay that. You don't delay it, but you get the same. What is this? Check. This one looks good. h3, bishop f2, king h1, queen g3. Wait, I had this one a puzzle streak ago. Wow, what is this? Just double them, right? Double them up. f6, I need to protect both rooks. Oh, Jesus, this guy is relentless. And now where do you go? g7, I suppose. Queen d4, knight f6, or knight e5. Yep. Take. Again, these positions. Bishop f2 to lock down the bishop and then start pushing the pawn. Because if I start pushing the pawn, he's gonna free his bishop and that's not good. That ain't good. What? What? I'm shocked by disrespect that I get. Unbelievable. This b2 should be done. Although there's d7, which I don't really appreciate, but... Queen c6, queen d5. Rook e8, queen d4. b2, d7, but maybe rook d8, and... What can he do, poor guy? Poor guy. This rook and this bishop are so deeply connected that they have to fail. Bishop f4. King to d1, bishop c2, and then you take on h6, because if you take on h6 immediately, then you're up to a big surprise. Surprise. What? Rook e8, free piece. Why not? Knight d3. Knight d3, king c3, queen f6, king b4, knight c2, I guess, or something else would work. But yeah, this works as well. Oh, he goes there, but there's this checkmate. Queen f1, knight c1, queen c1, king c1, rook d1. Wow. Wow. Or take on e1. Ooh, this is... No, I think there was some queen c3 stuff. Knight c4 stuff. Knight c4. Oh. What is this? Just g3 or? G3, G2, and then the king is way too... I mean, white's not equipped to defend against this pawn. Rook g8. I don't know. Ah, but he can push. Wait. I thought about pushing g3, but... if this... somehow it feels wrong to play this. I mean, I allow him... I think I gotta be quick with the pawn somehow. Yeah, rook c7 looks, but... no, rook c7 you push g3. That's bad, I think. Wait, king f7, rook g5, king e8. Yeah, probably... yeah. I don't know, let's push. And then push more. Let's check it. To learn something about rook endgames. So, rook g8. I guess only moves work here. Yeah, king c2. And if you take this one, and the king is cut off, you don't have time for g3 because of rook g8 immediately, and you lose a pawn. Or you just allow the king to escape, like g3, rook g8, rook c4. Yeah. You don't even have rook c3, so that's falling apart immediately. This rook g4. Yeah, way too cut off. And if this, then rook e8. And now if you start pushing, now the king is in time to hide in this box. To hide from these rook a1 ideas. This, rook g1, and it's a draw. Next pass. Well, knight g4 seems like the most naturalist. King g1, queen c5. Well, this seems easy, right? Yeah. Bishop f2 and then something. And then something. Bishop f2, queen f3. Oh, but I have queen h6. So it turns out he cannot stop both queen f4. I mean, one of these three is gonna follow up when you move the queen. And you cannot save both because you don't have e3 at disposal or anything on this diagonal for the queen. So one check will appear. And when it appears, it's gonna be crushing. Check. Interesting. Interesting turn of events. Rook f6, this, 94. It has to be this. It simply has to be this. Wait, I go up. Okay. I go up. Good for me. Probably king d7 and attack the rook and promote. Because if he takes on e7 without losing a rook or anything significant, it's supposed to be a draw. We winning. Yes. We winning. And now we go here. Just kidding. And then the puzzle goes like this. Queen h5. What is this? So much dissing going on. Ah, that's why. Queen h6, king e7. No. Queen h6, king e8. Rook g7. And then you give a checkmate. Possibly. Or maybe queen g... no. Take and rook g7. I'm not sure about mating what, how much, but... yeah, it should be. Although maybe... aha, yeah, if you go rook d7, rook g8 is working, so yeah. Sure. e5, no. What's up with knight h7, queen f4? Oh yeah, this is mate in 3. BT dub. Mate in 3 moves. Jesus Christ. Takes, and maybe some f3, but first maybe play c3. Takes, go c3. And then play f3, once you don't allow the pawn to be pushed. Yeah, I think so. I think it's forced. And now c3. Because if I go king c3, there's b4, which is a bit annoying, so I gotta go c3, right? And then go f3. But if he goes with the king, then I go c4. And then I force him just to... so if he goes to d6, now you don't go with this, I suppose. Because he takes and he's close to the pawn. He's gonna go f5, and I don't think this is gonna be very good for white. I think he might even be losing here. So after king d6, I was thinking maybe c4 here. And now black has to go king c5, because if you take it, then you lose a4. And I think now you go f3, and now the king is way too far. Let's see. Let's check the engine. The ultimate friend. I don't know, I think black has upper hand there. Yeah, f3. Oh, g4 is a draw, wow. Wait a second, king e3. Ah, king e3, but wait, what's the matter with this one? G3, oh, this is lost. Because f5, ooh. Sneaky, so I have to go king e3. King e3. And if king c4, now g4. Now he has no time for g3, g2. Instructive. Queen d3, you said. Yes, queen d3, and you lose h7, you lose everything. Sure, let's go for it. Rook b2. Rook b2. Well, what's so bad about taking this? Because if I don't take, he takes my bishop, and now I can cry. Cry myself. Okay, bishop c5 maybe. Maybe that kind of move works. Queen c6, bishop f8. What do you think about that cool move? Oh, but it's not so cool. There's queen b6. So I have to somehow unhang my pieces. King h1. Bishop c4, bishop c5, queen c6, king h1, king h8, queen h6, rook g8, bishop f8. And then bishop g7. Or I could go simply rook f2 and evade check that way. But yeah, bishop c5 is the start, and then you think later. Take with this rook, take knight d3, take a rook. What the hell is wrong with these people? Aha, so knight d3, king d3, and knight e1. Oh, but that's different because now f7 doesn't hang. Let's say king f1 and no, king e2, sorry. You have to move the knight, and then it's complicated. Because in line which I'm proposing, rook c8, bishop c8, knight d3, bishop hangs on c8, and there's no time for white to capture on e1, so maybe that's the big point. So take on c8, I don't see anything else. that could work better. Better. King c4. A2 or else. What's the answer? Maybe A2 first. No, A2, knight A1, and there's no tempo on the knight. I think I gotta go king c4 or king f4, chase it immediately to win a tempo as soon as possible. A2. Okay, but knight h1 is also a loss of tempo, so what am I talking? What am I talking about? Wait, h2. h2, king b5. Oh, this is way too slow. Way too slow. If I go here... Oh, of course, knight f1 is working, yeah. Push it, damn it. Yeah, that's the... knight square. Somehow I missed he can do that, and it's a very elementary endgame. Francisco, hello. I guess we go king e3 and we save this tempo for later. King e3, get to d4, and at some point we push h4. But once we get to d4, not before. We need to use it at the right moment. King e3, king e6, let's say, king d4, king d6. We have an opposition. White is hopeless, but no, h4. And now king has to let us in. With king c6, king e5 is allowed, and these pawns are just hopeless. King d4. Oh, I have to do a right order here. So queen e3, and let's say g6, bishop e7, queen e7, knight d5. Yeah, I thought, but it was short-lived. Yeah, if we play h4, it's a draw because king d5 is possible, and you never have this extra tempo. Yeah, then take on f6, bishop on b7 hangs. There, I don't know which puzzle book could I use to... Maybe when a few days before the OTB I can do that on the stream. Solve puzzles from... Okay, not Agard's book, but something a little more friendly. Queen e3. It has to be. Fix the pawn. I mean, you have to go because c4 comes next, and what do you do? Prep for OTB is going... well... It's not really existent right now. I did some prep like a few weeks ago, but I was a bit lazy these days. I was sick and I'm still recovering, so I got an excuse to be lazy. Lazy. I think it's g4, king e4, and if g3, king f3, here, go, take. Once I take on c2, it's easy. Perfect your chess by Volokitin, yeah. And Dvoretsky's manual by Dvoretsky. g4. King e4, king g3, king f3, king d5, king g3, king d4, yeah. Should work. Because you don't want to allow c3. Just to go back to this one. If you do something random like king f5, he gets to play c4, and it's a mess. Takes. Now you have to include your king, but it may be just too late, because also white is going for promotion. So after b4, king d4, g4, you're stopping c4 because, or c3, because he can take, and now the g pawn is unstoppable. So that is it. Oh boy, this is a problem, but we can go on ig6, take on f8 with check, and do something fun. Maybe check. Aha, but in the end he takes on c2, so let's take a deeper look. Maybe include a check on c7 and then take on a8. Knight g6, take a rook c7, and then take on a8. And the king is pretty much safe from checks because the queen will be on a8. Give a check and then take a bishop. Okay, this one we cannot go here because of check. Well, we take this, right? Right? No, we don't take it. It's a stupid idea. Forget everything I said. Maybe g5. No, g5, queen c6, rook d6 maybe. No. Queen takes here, c2. This one maybe. And then what do you do? What do you do? Takes. I don't like it. So, g5 it is. Queen c6. Oh, bishop d6. For crying out sakes. So g5. Only move left. Oh, bullet tricks. No. Bishop d6. Not rook d6. Because with rook d6 you don't threaten to promote. And with this we want to pressure the rook on f1. What the hell is this buzz? Maybe king e6 and you follow it up with f5. Looks good. Sehr good. I don't know, if fe c4, he stops any pawn break, my king is not active. So this c4, d5, this here, king c3. Oh, but wait, I'm not able to. I have to go from this point. f5. Yeah. Knight e2 versus Winawer. Yeah, I saw it. Oh, knight c4. Oh, knight c4. Yeah, that looks much better. Knight c4. And let's say f4. No. But wait, knight c4, there's gonna be some... Aha, on queen c2, there's gonna be queen a1, queen e5, and... You lose some material, definitely, here. Knight c4. I wanted b3, but... Maybe it's not so brilliant. Not so brilliant. Knight c4, rook e2. Queen a1, king c2. Wait, what about this move? How do you refute this move? Start pushing the p. Okay. Push the p. En passant. Just kidding. You cannot do that. Queen g6. If bishop f6, I simply take queen f6, queen g7, and I take a rook. If rook g8, queen f5, and target h7, that's also hopeless. Yeah. Queen f5. Oh, I didn't see that one. Didn't see that one. King b1. King b1. Wait, queen e7? What was there? I don't know. Let's see. So this, king b1. Let's say on queen e7. Ah, you have rook e1. You cannot defend the 7th so easily. On this... Well, now I can take on f5, I guess. 2 pawns down, the weak king. Everything is in white's favor. Sure. Bishop hangs, e6 hangs, so we can take and defend what hangs. Defend what hangs. Well, rook g6 and rook h8, king d7, rook d1, bishop g2. That's easy. Easy spot. I mean, I can go bishop g2, take twice, take on g6, but I don't think that's the way, because white's rook is too active and knight b5 will come, rook c1. I don't know if that works. Rook g6. Yeah, let's go. Shah. Ooh. Rook f4 takes, rook d2. And now spot the difference between knight e5. Knight e5 is met with g3, I suppose. So I have to go with this rook, bishop c4, with this knight, bishop c4, rook a5, and the knight is successfully defended. Although after, wait a second, this king c8 is possible as well, yeah. But rook f2, and now g5 possibly works out. Or just knight e6? No, knight e6, rook f6. That's a bummer. So g5, because g3 is impossible because of this fork. So we defend the knight. Just like that. h5. h5, king d7, h6, king d7. No, nothing works. h6, b3, h7, b2, queen, queen, queen c8. Secure. But why wouldn't you... Why wouldn't I take this? Ah, but then g4. And now 2 passed pawns are there. Not easy to handle it. If I go h6 immediately, then he is too slow to do anything. But now I have to capture. Have to capture. Check and king d4, I suppose. See you, Alberto, if I stream after your lunch. But I'm big pessimist about that. Maybe I'll finish in 20 minutes or so. Ooh, what is that? King d4, rook c2. Queen e1, rook c1. Maybe queen d2 in the end of this line. No, it doesn't work that way. Queen d2. Jeez. Rook c5, king d6, and you win the bishop. Queen h5 with knight f7. Knight h7 would be nice, but there's queen h4 counter blow. The point is, if you take on h7, there's a checkmate on h5, but black is not forced to capture at all. So probably just queen h5 here and then knight f7. Oh, wait, maybe it's queen g6? If queen g5, queen e8, king h7, bishop g8, king h8, bishop f7, and checkmate on g8? Because if I do this, he's gonna take... He's gonna pull off some knight e5 stuff. I don't like it. And also, he's not materially down. Also, there's some problem with the rook on e3. Plus, this pawn is a bit annoying, so I would do something, if I could, something clean. And I think this one is as clean as it gets. Queen g6, if hg, there's queen h5, if queen g5, then, as I told before, queen e8 and bishop g8. So I'm gonna go for this and hope for the best. Oh, what is this? c5? c5 and something to take on, or knight g2 immediately, why not? Knight g2, c5, knight e3, king h1. It's hard to find the checkmate there. Although there's knight c2 and rook c2, queen d5. But if you do this, king f1 might be a problem. Knight e3. Aha, king e2, knight c2. King e1, still knight c2, or just to give a check. Okay, let's finish this. No, it's c5. Let's see. Knight g2, what was the problem? Queen c5. Ah, queen c5. Oh, yeah, that's a bummer. I only talked about c5. And now there's no call on d5, so my bishop is useless. And with only knight and rook, it's tough. Anything meaningful. Okay, guys, I'll see you tomorrow with more, with maybe some training. I don't know. I'll find something to do. Maybe Simul, maybe, I don't know. I cannot promise anything, so I guess I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.